My name is Qwendolyn Rozzell Burris, and this is Franklin Boulevard Media. I grew up in Gastonia, North Carolina. It was back in probably October of '07, and I found out probably about a month before that. I suspected that I may have had breast cancer because I found a lump on my right breast. That just happened. I guess you could say it was by coincidence, which I don't believe it was. It was coincidence, but not coincidence. I was just taking a shower, and then all of a sudden, it was like something just took my hand and placed it exactly where the lump was. I had never thought about it, never suspected it or anything. And then when I, felt it, that's when I got concerned. My first step was I probably contacted my doctor, and then, a mammogram was set up. I did the mammogram and I think a biopsy, and I got the results back, I guess, shortly after that. And then at the time we were living in Clovis, South Carolina. And my doctors were in Rock Hill. And so, I started, I guess, my doctor's appointments, and I guess the first doctor appointment that I had after, the doctor appointment I went to, I guess, to get the final test results, it was a Dr. Shirley Scott in Rock Hill. And I remember, going, and she went over the results, and it said that the results showed that I had stage 3 breast cancer. It was already in stage 3, and I think there was a lump that was already about 5 centimeters. I guess at that particular moment, first, I guess maybe the normal reaction that most people might have, and that would be concern, worry, fear. I remember my husband was with me, and I remember we shed a few tears after we left the doctor's office. But after that, I guess and going back a little bit, I guess I know about breast cancer from 2 aspects. One, because I have both of my parents who are deceased died from cancer, and in particular, my mother passed at the young age of 37 from breast cancer. And then my dad passed at the age of 63 of brain cancer. So I guess even though I found out that I had stage 3 cancer, like I say, I had already kind of been through from that aspect of helping be, I guess you could say, in a way, maybe caretaker. Even though when my mother passed, I was just 19. And I had 4 younger brothers. I'm the oldest of 5, and I had 4 younger brothers. So when my mother passed, my youngest brother was actually just 4 years old. And so I had to help my dad, take care of my younger brothers. And so I've seen what, I guess, cancer can do to a family. But when I was diagnosed myself, like I said at the first beginning of it, there probably was some fear or worry or concern. But I had also seen both of my parents, I guess, be strong through their battles with cancer. So I drew strength from what I had seen them do when they experienced their cancer diagnosis. And then most importantly, I trust and believe God, and that was after the initial response of the tears. My next thought was, God, I know that you're with me. I know that you can help me through this situation. And I know that I can trust and depend on you. My treatment, I did 16 rounds of chemo, and I think 33 radiation treatments, and then I had to do a lumpectomy surgery, which the chemo was very successful because when it came to time for my surgery, my doctor said it was just a really tiny amount of the tumor left, and so the chemo was successful, and the radiation, and I think I got through. I wouldn't say that I had the worst of chemo experience, because like by God's grace, I was able to make it through the chemo, which that can be very tough on a person, going back and forth every week for weeks at a time, getting strong doses of chemo medicine, and then I had other appointments outside of that, so it can take a toll on you, as far as, I guess, mentally having to do that every week. But like I said, but through God's grace, I was able to do it, and God had brought me through it successfully. And I just thank God every day that it's been almost probably 15 years and I'm cancer free. Main support was probably my family, my husband, and then my children. I've got 4 beautiful children. They were a great support. And then my church family and different friends. And so I had a lot of support. My advice would be to, if you don't have a support group, I would encourage you to look for support, because there are, so many ways you could probably find support groups. Now, my first thought would be a church, or you could probably go online and look for some other support groups, because I feel that is important. I don't think anybody should have to face or deal with breast cancer situation or any type of situation where there's sickness involved by yourself, because you need somebody there on a probably daily basis, or as much as possible, someone that can encourage you, someone that can, sort of walk along or your journey, go through your journey with you, and so it's very important. And then as far as doctors, the doctors that I had, I believe they were great doctors. They seemed to be very concerned, and they were, I believe they did everything possible that they could medically to help me through my situation and to make things easier for me. So it's important, as far as support, and then also I would say the right medical care, the right doctors. You can make it through this. I'm standing after 15 years. Don't look at breast cancer as an immediate death sentence, even if it's no matter what stage that you're diagnosed in. Like I said, I was diagnosed in stage 3, and there's 4 stages of cancer. And so don't panic. There is hope. That's why I wore the T-shirt I've got on today, I guess so people could see the word hope. And so there is hope. There is hope. First of all, there's hope in God. There's hope. So you don't have to walk in fear concerning even cancer. And then I believe there's so much, I believe God also uses doctors, and I believe there's probably even more advancement of medical treatments even since the 15 years that I was diagnosed. And so just stay at peace, just believe God, trust God, and just know that you can make it. You can make it. So anybody, any ladies out there, and even there's even men that deal with breast cancer. There is hope, and just go through the process, even though it may not be easy, but you can make it, and you can see a victorious outcome like I did.